Now, Bloomberg Politics reporter Jennifer Epstein, who just interviewed Hillary Clinton moments after this video was posted, this endorsement by the president. So what were the highlights from your conversation with Clinton?
Well, it was a really brief conversation, but she did get to kind of express how pleased she was with the president's endorsement, that they've gone from being rivals to close friends and somebody who she very much respects, and to get such a substantive endorsement from the president was something that really meant a lot to her. That he says, you know, she has what it takes. I've seen it. You know, I fought against her. She can do this job. She thinks it's going to be a very valuable thing on the stump. That's something that she said to me, especially running against somebody like Donald Trump. To have President Obama, who says, I know how hard it is to be president. He can't do it. Donald Trump can't do it. Hillary Clinton can, is something that I think that Hillary Clinton thinks will be very, very powerful in the months to come.
What other names came up in the interview, Jennifer? Did you talk Bernie Sanders at all? I know
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren's name came up.
Yes, we did talk about Bernie Sanders briefly. She said she's looking forward to meeting with Senator Sanders sometime soon, that's going to be arranged, very, very soon. She wants to bring the party together. She's been anxious to do that, but she also understands it needs to be done on his terms. She was in his position of being the runner-up in 2008, and she does not want to step into his emotional process in any way, and that's sort of what she's letting play out right now. You know, with his meeting with President Obama, he's meeting with Senate leaders, he's meeting with the Vice President. All of that is to kind of help him wind down this campaign, and meeting with her will be part of it. And then from there, they'll both kind of be focused on taking down Donald Trump.
Did she seem more confident about taking down Donald Trump, particularly in the last few days, given all this controversy around various subjects, including the judge?
Yeah, you know, I think that it's been a combination of her having a couple of very good days, going all the way back almost a week at this point to the foreign policy speech that she gave in San Diego, which was a moment when she was able to kind of take Donald Trump's own words and show how dangerous they could potentially be on the foreign stage. And that was something that really got a lot of traction, got a lot of positive reviews even from conservatives or people who are concerned about Donald Trump on the right.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think that she's going to continue to do. She's going to do it on economic policy in the weeks to come, and she kind of signaled to us that she's very much going to try to toe the right line on Wall Street.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer Epstein with her interview of Bloomberg Politics, with her interview of Hillary Clinton. And Margaret, just before we let you go, I'm curious to know, we were talking about this sort of dance between Sanders and Clinton. How exactly could they work together? I mean, is there any kind of idea of a framework that they could work together to galvanize the Democratic Party?
Certainly. I mean, I think number one, there is the optics of it. The day that Senator Sanders appears on stage with Secretary Clinton at their first rally will be a really important day, both in terms of the message it sends and in terms of the feedback they give each other about whether they can really campaign together in the fall. But also, sort of more tactically speaking, there is a nominating convention coming up, and there are things that Senator Sanders wants incorporated into changes for the nominations process in states, to the way the DNC organizes its conventions, to the platform, to Clinton's message going forward. Those are like specific policy issues and tactical moves that they can begin to discuss either one-on-one or through their intermediaries, and that will have a lot to do with how closely he can get behind her and how much he can actively encourage his supporters to vote for her, not just against Donald Trump in the fall.
Margaret Talev, thanks, and stand by. I know there's a live press
White House briefing,
that we're
that's right.
waiting for. Yeah. Those are live pictures, in fact, and that should be coming up in the next few minutes. We'll monitor and we will give you the headlines from that. Megan Murphy, our Washington, D.C. bureau chief, I just want to ask you one more time. The major news here is that we now have an endorsement from the president for Hillary Clinton. What constituencies will she be hoping that he significantly, beefs up for her?
I mean, Hillary's whole pathway has been very much about mobilizing the exact same coalition that elected Obama. She does very well among African Americans. She does very well among the Latino vote. Her issue has always been white working class men, frankly, and white women as well. Donald Trump has really dialed into that group as the people who may lift him up. So what she's going to be looking at is those same people who were so galvanized by his message of hope that they will then associate that sort of momentum drive behind her as well. Some of the people who've drifted to Sanders, who believe in the capacity of change, of truly profound social and economic change in this country, that's who she's going to hope that President Obama can sort of link up arms and give people a really progressive vision of this country moving forward. Not the negatives, but the positives. Not the things they can't do, the things they're going to crack down on, the things they're going to change. But where are we moving forward in an economy that still faces serious structural, where people are still feeling like it's tougher to get back into the workforce, to take care of their aging parents, to afford college education. It's that message that are really going to be dialed in. People call it anger. It really is just disruption and really bedding down their vision for the future of this country.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. Megan Murphy and, of course, to Margaret Tolliver there at the White House. And just a reminder that in just a few moments, we are going to be hearing from Josh Earnest, the White House spokesperson. We're going to be awaiting this White House briefing. And, of course, very likely he is going to be beginning on this endorsement from the president for Hillary Clinton. In the meantime, let's get back to business and how the markets are doing. We are less than 2 hours away from the closing bell. I want to head to the markets desk, where Bloomberg's Sherry Ahn has more, and we seem to be losing here from at least the losses that we were trying to recover earlier.
Yeah, so we're still in negative territory, but pairing those declines. So after gaining throughout the week, we're finally seeing U.S. stocks just reversing course. We're down across the board. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.2%. The Nasdaq also down 0.4%. The S&P 500 reversing that 10-month high. If you take a look at the intraday of the S&P 500, though, you are going to see that we are pairing those earlier declines. We had the low at around 2107, but currently gaining more than 100 points, still down 0.3%. If you go into the IMAP function on the Bloomberg, I want to show you the individual sectors, because we're seeing still materials and financials leading those declines. Why? Because of Treasury yields, because now that we're seeing them sinking to the lowest since February, well, people are thinking that financials, that the rebound that we could see in banks' profits are not going to be there. So take a look at some of the financials that we have out there. Wells Fargo, we have the Bank of America. They're all falling across the board as the U.S. 10-year yield is now falling and sinking to the lowest since February 11th. I also want to show you raw materials companies, because they're also snapping a 6-day winning streak. We are seeing them, Freeport, McMoran Copper, now falling more than 6% as we saw those copper futures slumping to the lowest in 4 months. We're also seeing some fertilizer stocks falling across the board as we see that Turkey has banned the import of nitrate fertilizers due to security concerns. Oil as well down from that 10-month high. We are now seeing that a stronger dollar is just countering that rally that was driven by tighter supplies. It's currently falling more than 1% at 50.66.
Some individual names bucking the downward trend, though, right, Sherry? Give us a few.
So we do have some individual bright spots out there, and we're talking about, say, American Airlines right now gaining 2.8%. That's after the repeated forecast for better margins in the second quarter. We also have Smucker rising. Look at that, more than 8% there, because they said that their quarterly earnings and sales, well, they just topped estimates. We saw that they were helped by pet food as well as Dunkin' Donuts branded coffee pods. And we also have Hershey rising about 2.5% on speculation of a takeover to take place. Those speculations were first brought forth by an online site, and then we had some unverified tweets out there just calling for a takeover, and that's helping the stocks there.
Sherry, thank you. All right, let's check on First Word headlines now. Mark Crumpton is in our newsroom. Mark.
Vonnie, Betty, thank you. House Speaker Paul Ryan has unveiled the national security part of the Republicans' new agenda. The Speaker's plan calls for increasing military strength and taking the fight directly to Islamic terrorists. He also talks about securing U.S. borders, but there's no talk of Donald Trump's proposal to build a wall between the U.S. and Mexico. The Supreme Court says judges may, in rare circumstances, call a jury back to the courtroom after it's delivered a verdict and was dismissed. The justices ruled 6-2 in a case involving a traffic accident in Montana. A jury was supposed to issue a payment but didn't. The judge discharged the jury before realizing a mistake had been made. He recalled them, and they quickly awarded the man $15,000 before going home for good. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says the time isn't yet right for new peace talks in Syria, but failing to get a serious agreement soon will make a further escalation all too likely. Ban is calling on the Syrian government to allow unhindered humanitarian access within the war-torn country, saying that it's a war crime to withhold access. Global news 24 hours a day, powered by our 2,400 journalists in more than 150 news bureaus around the world. I'm Mark Crumpton. Vonnie, Betty, back to you.
Mark, thank you so much. And as we mentioned, we are still awaiting today's White House press briefing. It is just about to happen at any moment with the White House spokesman Josh Earnest. And of course, this comes immediately after President Obama and his endorsement of Hillary Clinton via a video. We're going to bring the briefing to you as soon as it gets underway. But as we head to commercial, here is President Obama in his own words.
I know how hard this job can be.